Like we are going to talk about 9 marker. We will have a look at sample answer. We'll discuss two different approaches to 9 marker. You can choose any, like whatever is better for you, and like then we will practice 9 markers. First of all, let's have a look at the sample answer, and then we discuss all the rest. Can you follow the link in the public chat? If you can, if it works, can you please put a plus? Okay. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Great. So first, let's have a look at the sample answer. We have some company called MME. So MME is successful but has a negative cash flow problem. Max believes that this problem is temporary and can be solved by using short-term source of finance. Short-term source of finance are like it's something which you take for a short period of time. You can do it quickly. However, interest is very high and you should give it back quickly as well. So he needs some short-term source of finance. Which of the options do you believe would be the most appropriate for Max? There are two options. Option one, taking an overdraft. Overdraft, it's like when like you simply go to the bank, you have bank account there, and you take a little bit more money than there is on your bank account. It is possible the bank can allow you to do that, but you will pay high interest. So option one, taking out an overdraft. Option two, my favorite, borrowing from his family and friends. So there are two options. You should select one which is suitable for Mark, and you should explain your choice. First, let's have a look at this sample answer. In the first paragraph, we explain why overdraft is better. Like in the second paragraph, we explain why we have rejected option two. And in the last paragraph, once again, we restate that like option one is better, but then we say what it depends on. So this is how it can look like. Paragraph one. I believe that overdraft is the better option for MME. First of all, overdraft is a flexible source of funds which may be received overnight. If MME has already approved overdraft limit, no further negotiations with the bank are required when there is an urgent need for short-term funds. As a result, a business can quickly receive the needed funds, tackling cash flow problems and avoiding insolvency. Moreover, if the business uses overdraft on a regular basis, a bank may extend the overdraft limit and lower the interest charged. However, if the bank decides that MME may struggle to pay back the money, it may demand to cover the overdraft any time. Moreover, the interest charged for using overdraft may be high, and if like uh, it takes the business longer than expected to return the overdraft, the cost of borrowing will be too high. So, in the first paragraph, we explain why overdraft is a good choice, but then at the end, we evaluate, we say, however, even overdraft has some disadvantages. Then, in the next paragraph, we explain why option two is not good for us. So we explain why we have rejected option two. So option two should be rejected as family members may not have sufficient funds like to lend at a short notice. Even if family members are able to find the sum of money in question, it may take some time. It means that MME is unlikely to raise the necessary sum overnight, relying on the family members. As a result, MME may not fully solve its cash problems by appealing to the family. Moreover, if there is a delay in payment, family members may take it as offense, which will lead to family quarrels. But, however, this is the cheapest way of funding money. So, in the second paragraph, first we explain why we have rejected option two. However, at the end, we give some advantages of option two. So, it's a kind of counter argument. And so that was our main body. And then in the final paragraph, in the conclusion, we restate our opinion and we say what the final choice may depend upon. So here, for example, we can say, in conclusion, overdraft seems a better option as a flexible and quick way to raise short term funds. However, it depends on the amount of money needed to solve the temporary cash problems, and it also depends on the cost of borrowing in case of overdraft. So, all in all, this is our structure. First, we have no introduction. Paragraph 1, why you have chosen the option. I have chosen option 1, but you may choose option 2. It's not a problem. Both options are good. Paragraph 2, why you have rejected the other option. Paragraph 3, conclusion, restate your position and say what the final answer may depend upon. So 1, 2, 3. Now let's talk about all of that in a little bit more detail, and just give me a sec. Right. And for this, we are going to download one more presentation. Yeah. So 9 mark questions. By the way, like 9 mark questions, they weigh a lot. There are 2 9 mark questions in paper 1, and there are 2 9 mark questions in paper 2. So 2 9 mark questions make 18. It's gonna be 18 out of, or like 18 out of 80, which is more than like 20%. So 9 markers. This is how they look like. We are given a situation, a case. For example, in order to start selling shoes to men and children, bucket shoes will need additional finance. The owners are considering the following options. Option 1, option 2. You will always be given a situation. You will always be given 2 options. And then you should choose one option and explain why I have chosen this option. You should do this through application, analysis, and evaluation. Under application, we understand that you show your knowledge. It means content. To get high marks for application of content, you should use business terminology from the book, and you should use business concepts from the book, ideas from the book. And then under application, we understand application of context. Under context, we understand a case study, and you don't have to talk about a company in general. You have to talk specifically about Beckett Shoes, a company which wants to produce like shoes to men and children. So this is what application is about. Then you can get up to 3 marks to application. Then you can get up to 3 marks for analysis. What is analysis? Under analysis, we understand like explaining our point and talking about consequences of our decision. We've practiced analysis. I mean, we did a lot of analyze practice last time. And when it comes to 9 mark question, you should just show your skills, which you have already sharpened in previous questions. So the approach with analysis is pretty much the same. When you write a paragraph, in the first sentence, you make a point, and then in the last 5 sentences, you explain this point. When you explain it, you don't just talk about companies in general, you talk about this specific company. This is why we call it application. So that's going to be analysis. And then finally, what is new for us is evaluation. It's assessment objective 4. uh, you don't just give arguments why you have chosen it, why you have chosen option 1, for example. You explain the limitations of your choice or the disadvantages of your choice. And this is what evaluation is about. So for evaluation, my favorite word is however. All in all, there are two basic approaches how to deal with 9 markers. You can choose any. It's just a must for me to inform you about both of these approaches. They both work. So, approach number 1, you discuss only the option you have chosen. For example, you may say, no, I'm sorry, it's just gonna be a little bit different. Yeah, so here we have a mistake. Let's do it like this. So approach number 1, you discuss both options, the one you have chosen and the one you have rejected. You say option 1 would be better choice because, however, option 2 should be rejected because, but then at the end of the paragraph, you show disadvantages of your answer. And then finally, in the final paragraph, you say all in all, option 1 is better, but it depends on. So this is the first approach. So first approach looks like this. First paragraph, I have chosen option 1 because, but then you say however at the end. Second paragraph, I have rejected option 2 because, and then you talk about disadvantages of option 2, then you say however, and then you may say something good about option 2, which was still rejected by you. And third paragraph, in conclusion, or you say all in all, like overall, option 1 is better because, then you quickly summarize it. This part is called judgment. But then you give evaluation. You say, however, it depends on. So this part is evaluation. So it depends on one, first thing, second thing, and third thing. So this is the first approach. In the first approach, you talk about both options. Why you have rejected, why you have chosen option 1 and why you have rejected option 2, or vice versa. Why you have chosen option 2 and why you have rejected option 1. Also, we have second approach. In the second approach, you only talk about the option which you have chosen. And in this case, in the first paragraph, you say option 1 would be better choice because, and in this paragraph, you analyze advantages of option 1. Then in the next paragraph, you say, however, option 1 has such disadvantages as, or option 1 is fraught with a number of repercussions such as, and in the second paragraph, you talk about disadvantages or limitations of option 1. And in the final paragraph, you just sum it up. You say, all in all, option 1 is better, but the final choice may depend upon. So that is second approach. So first paragraph, you say option 1 is better because, and then you explain it. In the second paragraph, you say, however, option 1 has some disadvantages or has some limitations. And then you talk about them. And then in the final paragraph, you conclude, you say, in conclusion, option one is better, but it depends on. And then you give several factors which may influence your final decision over option one or option two. What approach is better? You should decide for yourself. It's up to you. It depends on how much you remember about option one, how much you remember about option two. It depends on the question per se. You can choose any approach. Back in times when specification was different, uh, you had to compare both options. Right now, today, in this new specification, you don't have to do this. It could be either just option one and option two, or only one option you have chosen. Uh, Now, let's have a look at the sample answer, which we have discussed once again. This one, discussed, like we've looked at it once again. Please look at it and tell me, in this answer, do we have two options discussed? Or only one option discussed? Please write your answer in the public chat. Two options. Amazing. Bingo. So now let's have a look at sample answers where only one option is discussed. Once again, I'm sorry if it's kind of too small for you. You can follow the link. Just give me a sec. So if the font is too small, if it's difficult for you to follow, you can just follow the link and open it in a way which is comfortable for you, kind of eyes friendly. Right now we're looking at the slide 5, and we will have a look at two sample answers where we only consider one option. First case, Nintendo. It's a company which makes game consoles. Nintendo is going to launch a game called Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. In order to increase profits from the launch, Nintendo is considering two pricing options. Option 1, penetration pricing. Option 2, price skimming. So penetration pricing is when first you set a very low price because people don't know your product. You want them to try this product. So you set a low price to penetrate the market. Price skimming is when you set a very high price because you have a very strong brand. For example, Apple does price skimming when Apple launches a new iPhone. So what is the best strategy for Nintendo? Price skimming, setting a high price, or penetration? So you should choose one option. You should justify which one of these two options Nintendo should choose. This is how a sample answer could look like. It's a little bit short. It's not 9 out of 9, but it's a good 7 out of 9 answer. And we can see the structure here. So let's have a look at the first paragraph. Option 1 is the better choice. This involves pricing games at a very low price to increase market share at the expense of other manufacturers such as Sony. This means that Nintendo should sell significantly more copies of the game, which will increase revenue. And then you need to analyze more. So, the answer is really short of analysis, but it gives us the idea how it works in general. Then, however, the profit margin on each game will now be very low, so even though sales may increase through the use of penetration pricing, it's possible that profits in the short run will not be large. Okay, in this way, in this paragraph, we explain why option one, penetration pricing, setting a low price may have disadvantages. And then in the final paragraph, we summarize our opinion and we say what it depends on. All in all, whereas option one is better, it depends on price elasticity, brand value, and whether the business can use economies of scale. So one, two, and three. Let's have a look at one more. Nintendo has identified that some of its older consoles, such as Wii U, are in the decline phase of the product life cycle. In the decline phase means they're not popular any longer. And in order to improve profitability, Nintendo has two options: stop making the Wii U or use extension strategy. Extension strategy is when you launch promotional campaign to boost popularity of the product once again. So you should justify which one of these two options Nintendo should choose. One paragraph explaining your choice, other paragraph explaining the disadvantages of your choice, and the last paragraph giving conclusion and saying what it depends on. For example, you may say that the console market is changing very rapidly, with new consoles coming onto the market every few years. Therefore, canceling is the best option. So, option one is the best option since consumers will not want to purchase all the games consoles. Therefore, revenues from Wii U will fall rapidly once the new consoles has been launched into the market. However, although newer consoles may appear on the market, the Wii U may still add to profits since will generate any sale will generate some profit, and it's unlikely that Wii U will have expensive advertising campaigns since it's in the decline phase of the product life cycle. And then in the final paragraph, you restate your position and you say what it depends on. All in all, whereas option one is the better, it depends on the results of the market research and the reasons why sales went down. If the product is totally obsolete and competitors offer cutting edge technology, then it's better to switch to new products. So, in total, you have to remember the things as follows. For 9 marker, you always have to choose one option. It has to be clear what is your choice. You can't be somewhere between. It's either option one or it's option two. So you choose one option out of the two and you make it clear for the examiner what your choice is. It has to be very clear for the examiner. The examiner cannot be confused. Then you should explain your choice. When you explain your choice, you should show your knowledge of content. It has to be clear for the examiner that you are not just a smart girl or a smart boy. It has to be clear that you have read the book. You should use some business terminology, some business ideas, collocations from the book. Then you should apply information from the case. You should talk specifically about Apple, Nintendo, or whatever. Then you should analyze. It's not enough to make a point. You should develop this point. So you should talk. You should use such words as therefore, as a result, etc. Then you should evaluate throughout the text. In the text, you should use however. So you show the weaknesses of your choice, and you should evaluate in the final paragraph. Evaluation in the final paragraph means that you use such phrases as "it depends upon," and then you give 2 or 3 factors which your final choice may depend upon. Do you have any questions about 9 marker? If everything is clear, please put a plus. If you have some questions or something is not clear, please put a minus. Plus, plus, plus. This is amazing. So it's going to be really easy for you to write a 9-mark essay right now. So please follow this link. And if it's going to be better, I'm going to download this presentation as well. Just a sec. Yeah. So you may either follow the link or the presentation, but I'm sorry, when it comes to presentation, I think it's it may be kind of problem. So if you follow the link, you can look at page 1, where you can read the case about Edison Joner. He runs a car valet service in Colombo, Sri Lanka, and he provides a service for his friend. He owns a motor service business that carries out repairs and car servicing. The agreement is that Edison washes and valets every car after Nalaka has completed his work. So this means that Nalaga's competitors have their car returned clean and tidy without charge. And since Nalaga began offering this extra service, repeat customers has grown significantly. Okay, so we have two businesses, car repairing and car washing, and they work together. Now let's go to second page. Uh, Question F. In order to measure the success of his business, Edison is considering the following two options. Option 1, profit. Option 2, owner satisfaction. As you remember, in in section 1, chapter 13, I think, or 14, we were talking about different measures of success, how to measure success. And one way how to measure success is through profit or profit growth. Another way is through satisfaction, customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction. So they need to measure their success. And there are two options. Option 1, profit. Option 2, owner satisfaction. So you should justify which one of these methods Edison Joner should use. We do it like this. Ideally, it's a 9-mark question, so you need 9 minutes. But so far, let's call it 10 minutes for the beginning. You have 10 minutes to think about it, to write your answer, 3 paragraphs, and you should send these 3 paragraphs to me, in the private chat. Okay? So once again, you have 10 minutes to answer this 9-mark question and send me the answer in the private chat. If you have any problems while answering the question, please put a question mark in the private chat and together we'll sort it out. So before you do this, in the public chat, can you write to me, what question do we have to answer? Anybody? So this is question 2F, right? In order to measure the success of his business, Edison is considering the following 2 options. Profit and owner satisfaction. Justify which one of these methods Edison Joner should use.